Hello everyone. Today's video is going a little more in depth about myself as a child, but moreover, it's about recognizing where I was as a child and where I am now. I didn't find out about my Asperger's syndrome until I was around 7 years old in first grade. No one in my family had even considered that I was on the spectrum until a teacher told my father she suspected I was autistic. Eventually, I got assessed, and it was determined that I had Asperger's syndrome. Then my dad got himself assessed when he realized he had a lot of the same characteristics, and it turns out he had it too. And we got it traced back to my grandfather, his dad, and determined it was genetic. But what happened around that time of newfound knowledge is what is most important in this tale. My anxiety was 11 out of 10 to say the least, especially as a child who thought that there was something wrong with them. I was bullied, kids and adults alike irritated me, and I felt misunderstood by anyone and everybody. I could hardly bear being in the crowded, cluttered classroom with 30 other kids at the same time. One of my Aspergian traits manifested like never before: a need for rigid routine. If the activity was even a second under or over the scheduled time, I'd start to panic, and if anyone tried to calm me down, I reacted violently and explosively. I threw desks and chairs, I slapped fellow classmates and teachers, and I screamed like I was being murdered. I would run out of the classroom, up and down hallways trying to evade staff sent after me. If I was caught, I'd be held down and restrained, both arms and legs locked behind my back. This became its own twisted version of a routine for me, except it wasn't calming, it was torture to me, as I hated being touched in general. I was a lost ghost of a child who didn't know that he could find any peace, find any sort of structure in his life. I would dread going to school every day out of fear of the staff who would restrain me. I was taken out of school for over half a year in favor of homeschooling, and then I returned halfway through second grade. I thought that I could handle going back. I was confident, but in reality, I was really back to square one. I started panicking and reacting violently once again, and they eventually relocated me to a claustrophobic rectangular classroom where someone guarded the door so I couldn't escape. I tried to outsmart them into thinking I was safe at least once so that they would stop blocking the door, and then I would make a run for it. I got out at least once, but then I got caught and restrained again. Eventually, my dad came, and I believe he saw me kicking and screaming in the security teacher's grasp, and he took me out of there and never brought me back. But this was only the beginning of a long and grueling journey to finding stability. Why am I telling you this story? Because it needed telling. I have just demonstrated to you that there was a child so severe that he needed to be bound to not cause harms to others and to himself so that he could learn to be better. And also he could be stable and teach others in the process that there is a better way to life. That life isn't always going to be hard for someone like me or you. And I live with at least 3 other conditions in addition to the Asperger's syndrome, which are dyslexia, ADHD, and bipolar. And I've been able to keep all 4 of these conditions under control. So if a kid as severe as me could assimilate into society like he has and disguise the so-called conditions he has, I know it's possible for others too as well. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.